Mariana Percy Lawton, née Belcombe. You're probably familiar with this name. But did you know there are more than just one Mariana? In fact, there are 5. Let me explain. Mariana was born in France to Marianne, potentially Mariana, Belcombe and Dr. William Belcombe, the daughter of a York mental health physician, the philanthropist and founding member of the Blanket Club, expert pianist, skilled equestrian, animal lover, gal pal to Anne Walker, and of course the love of Anne Lister's life. Mariana had 4 sisters, Henrietta, Eliza, Louisa, Anne, and 1 brother, Steph. The family lived cosily and, by all accounts, happily in Petergate in York. Although she was already secretly married to Anne Lister of Shibden Hall, in 1816, under the pressure of society and her parents, Mariana married Charles Bourne Lawton of Lawton Hall. As one of 5 daughters of a doctor, you can imagine the pressure she felt in needing to marry for financial security. Through survived correspondence, we can confidently ascertain that if either woman had had the financial independence necessary to spend their lives together, we all know what would have happened. I digress. Say hello to Mariana V1. Steph, the brother, went on to marry Harriet Cotton Bagshaw, and together they had 4 sons and 1 daughter. Their only daughter was welcomed into the world in the spring of 1821 in Newcastle under Lyme. Anne and Mariana were asked to be the child's godmothers. Shout out to all the gay aunts and godmothers of the world. Well, according to Anne, she convinced Steph to name his daughter after Mariana. True love, am I right? And as a result, Mariana Percy Belcombe II was christened at St. Giles with all her family in attendance. We now have Mariana V2, nicknamed Percy. According to information in letters from Mariana to Anne, Percy was a sickly child. Apparently her illness couldn't be diagnosed and she was referred to as an invalid on multiple accounts. Well, we've heard that one before. But that didn't stop Percy. She was a musical composer, student of Latin, traveller, independent homeowner, and described as happy with a positive outlook on life despite her condition. This could have been the reason she outlived every single person in her immediate family. Well, sometime between 1841 and 1851, she acquired a lady's maid. For those of you at home, I just use air quotes, but I'll explain later. For now, meet Elizabeth Hopkinson. Born in St. Olaves in 1823, Elizabeth was the daughter of a well-known York shoemaker, George Hopkinson. She was one of 5 children, and 2 of her brothers, George and Thomas, became well-known York musicians. According to census records and newspaper articles, Elizabeth and Mariana spent the rest of their lives together. They vacationed in Ventnor, attended weddings and social events together, served on the York RSPCA board for several years, and gave to charity often, together. Let's recap for a second. George is the brother of Elizabeth, who is the companion of Mariana Percy Belcombe, who's the niece of Mariana Percy Lawton, who is the daughter of Mariana, sometimes Marianne, Belcombe. With me? Great, let's keep going. Elizabeth's brother George was a professor of music and a conductor of the York Choral Society. George went on to marry and have a gaggle of his own children. In 1850, he and his wife welcomed their first child into the family. Can anyone guess her name? Anyone? Anyone? Say hello to Mariana Elizabeth Hopkinson, also known as V3. In 1861, she is listed as a scholar in York, and by 1871, her family had relocated to Glasgow. However, she was listed as vacationing with her aunts Mariana and Elizabeth in Ventnor. But in 1881, we find her married and starting her own family in Edinburgh. In 1884, Mariana Elizabeth and Peter welcomed their second child, Alice Mariana, into the fold. Alice was the name of the father's sister. Yes, I know, it's a sore subject. Why couldn't it be Mariana Alice? We'll have to ask them some other time. Alice Mariana Campbell, V4, growing up in Galashiels, Scotland, with her sisters Lillian and Annie, taking in the beauty, enjoying having a father hairdresser and a mother music teacher. Life is good, right? Well, it had to be, because this is where our story ends. What did Alice Mariana do? Where did she live? Who did she marry? Did she carry on the Mariana name? What about Mariana Elizabeth? What other adventures did she find herself in? What other stories can we find out about the original Marianas? There's so much more to all their stories. Visit your local archives and see what you can find. Let's tell her story and bring all the women of history to life. Now, I know what you're saying. This isn't a direct descendant to the original Mariana, so it doesn't count as being a family name. But this is our story, and so it does.